Hi everyone. So today I'll be starting with my first video for 30 minutes of building per day. I know it says 1 hour on my channel, but I think we can do 30 minutes because I spent 30 minutes preparing beforehand. And yeah, so Claude Code is really impressive. Actually, a lot of these agentic tools nowadays are really impressive, and I think it'd be cool to show some people what are some things that you can actually build with Claude Code. So I want to work with something that I've never worked with before. In this case, I want to build a game in 3D, and you can see here. Let me actually just push this in first and be helpful to make a game. Make a game. Yeah, so what I wanted to do was actually try out making a 3D project in Next.js, just because it's going to be really easy to deploy once I get to it. And I thought it'd be cool to showcase what are some things that Claude Code can do, even if it's building for something that I've never built in my life. So while this is over here thinking, we'll let it run for a bit. And I said 3 hours, but because with Claude Code, we can do it much faster. And yeah, so basically, I want to walk you through my workflow. So right now, I started with creating a prompt, and because I'm no expert in 3D web game design, which is something that I wanted to try out making, I just asked Claude to do it. So a few key things that you need to note over here is this ultra think, which activates thinking mode in Claude Code and allows it to actually work harder and smarter, basically, and to think deeper into your problem. Additionally, I told it to research some of the best practices to make a React 3 application with Next.js. So I did a bit of searching beforehand, and that's just one of the libraries that you can use to work with Next.js, because I would like to make a 3D game. So I told it to document this into the Claude.md, which is where the context of all these, which is like context that will always be fed into the LLM moving forward, to basically document some of the best practices in the role of a senior engineer to create a 3D game. So that's the core idea, and it went off and did a web search and came back with all the things that I needed. So I suspect this is yeah. So now this is done, basically telling me a few different ideas of something I can build. And yeah, I think a portal would be pretty cool, actually. So let's do that. Yeah, sounds good. So just to highlight what I mentioned previously, if you use this ultra think term, it will highlight it and actually make it think harder when trying to make a decision about something. So and help me to make a plan for number one. Okay, and now I make a new terminal, and I Claude resume, which is basically continuing from the current session. And I just wanna so this separately runs, and in the meantime, I would like to set up the project since right now it's empty, and set up the project basic yeah. Dependencies for the client. dependencies for number 1, but don't start building the project yet. Yeah, so you can see over here, because I use ultra think, the thinking mode, it's thinking right now, and you can control O and it'll show you some of the thoughts it has. So basic application, and does not really start building yet, so it's gonna do that. In the meantime, it actually created this PRD of how it's gonna do this, and okay, so now I'm actually letting it run the project. And so what I'll do is actually, can you add this plan to a prd.md? Yep, so it's gonna go ahead and add that over. Meanwhile, I'll just let this do some installations first. As you can see, it's initializing the project. And let me just take a look at this plan in the meantime while it's doing this. Alright, so it's basically created the code for most of it already. And okay, actually, I'm thinking I don't want to do this actually. Yes, and allow edits. So now it's able to basically make any edits it wants. So, okay. Actually, I don't really want these things, so I'm just gonna remove them. The node modules and the package.json, which was created. And from there, basically just what I'm gonna do is let Claude do it at prd.md. Can you build this thing with the project initialization, and then spinning up sub-agents for each task. parallel. Ultra think. So essentially what this is going to do is build out whatever I have planned out in this prd.md and then spin up sub agents for each task for things that can be done in parallel. So essentially it will build out this right now. As you can see, it's trying to build out based on the following PRD, so it needs to initialize the project first. So while that's being done, we can actually go ahead and learn a bit more about building with these 3D things. So this is removing the temporary project that is created, so that's fine. Just accept it and let it try to create something else. Okay. Right. Meanwhile, we'll just let this run. And I'm just observing all the things that are here. Okay, so it basically installed the thing and moved it into my folder directly. Okay, cool. Yep, so it basically made use of a starter to put all the things that was needed inside. In this case, React 3 Next starter. Let's see what this is actually. So it's just something very simple to have Next and React 3 all bundled together. Ah, alright, interesting. Cool. So now it's running the installation. Just give it some time. And meanwhile, we can continue looking at the prd.md. So what I'll do is I'll pull up a new one. And what I like to do with Claude is actually to and explain to me, like a junior engineer, some of the prerequisite knowledge I will need to understand to build the following application. Assume this is my first time building such an app with Three.js. Make me a nice visual tutorial with HTML. Yeah, so it'll go ahead and do that to try and explain to me some of the things, and as you can see here, it's working to bump up the versions, and as I allow all edits, what you'll see is that the .plot is actually should be having a greater allow list, Not sure what's going on over here, but basically now it's trying to figure out all the dependency issues and get it to work. So we'll let it run. Okay. Meanwhile, while it's creating this, oh, interesting. Okay, it's successfully run. So, and what's cool is that because I've done planning here, now Claude is able to launch parallel subagents to work on the different components in parallel. And the idea being that, so you'll see that we've created this source / components / shaders. Oh yes, and shaders here. So it'll be building up the different tasks that has been outlined in the PRD that we can see over here. So FPS controller. Okay, we'll let this run for a bit as well. And as you can see, it's actually running the different tasks, and I can Control O to basically see what's the prompt that it's telling each of these things. For example, in the portal component, we'll find the portal component. Right, can't really find a specific portal component here. Portal.tsx, yeah. Sorry. So, alright, no worries. Portal. Create a portal component, add torus frame, create circular portal surface, add emissive material to portal. So that's exactly what it's trying to do over here. And you can see that it's running, and I'll have to allow some of these things. This is just writing things to files, essentially. Okay, and we'll let it run. So you see, like, it actually created different things here. Curious if my visual tutorial is done. Wow, it's still thinking. Okay, just give it some time. Right, and yeah, we'll just accept these things. And we'll continue looking through the PRD to really understand what we're building here, which is actually quite important. So next time, if you're not in such a rush, this is actually quite important to start with. Looking through the PRD and understanding what you're building. So primary goal is to create a portal effects, seamless teleportation between 3D spaces, build a reusable portal system for future game mechanics, and yeah, as it builds, I'll just yes and allow all edits session. So what you see here is that it actually created a tutorial, which I'm going to look at in a second, but just look through, let's just look through what the main idea is: to implement teleportation between 3D spaces and build a reusable portal system for future games. Okay, yeah, some of the visuals, cool. Some of the collision detection. Oh, so the player's going in, you know. First player controls and some portal to portal rendering with the video camera. Alright, that's really cool. So let's see if this works. And meanwhile, let me pull up tutorial.html. so we've got this. Alright, so interesting. It starts with 3D space and coordinates. Left, down, back, forward. Okay. Right. Walk through a portal. You need to calculate the new position in 3D space, where you'll appear in the other side. Alright. Because we are teleporting in 3D, right? Okay, it's teaching vectors. And clearly, something is failing here. But that's okay. It just gives a really nice visual tutorial of what are some things you need to understand. Okay, moving objects. Right, so distance between 2 points. A player is given a vector, portal is a vector, and the distance is also a vector. And then we have the direction from A to B in order to determine, let's see, so you get a direction between two vectors, the portal player and the player position, and from there you then normalize it. Oh, interesting. And finally you get a moving vector. You move it by the velocity vector. 1 second. So this gives direction, and this gives velocity, and do we add them together? Okay. Let me go back to seeing how my sub-agents are running. Okay, that's the tutorial. Let's see my sub-agents. Okay. We just let it run. Okay. I feel like this is likely going to be problematic, but we'll let them run. It seems like a lot of them are trying to run the server at the same time to test something, but that's okay. 4 errors. So the cool thing about Claude Code is that it actually has this feedback loop where it's able to figure out if there's errors and go ahead and fix those errors so that you don't get the same issues. So yeah, so we're just going to let it all run and see how they do. Meanwhile, let's go back to our tutorial. Okay, so the next thing is there's Three.js, and then there's React 3 Fiber, which alleges to be cleaner, it seems. And this canvas component, it's your 3D world, everything 3D goes inside it. Cool, so we have a canvas and use frame. So from use frame, we run the code 60 times per second, which we use it for animation and logic. So import use frame, never call set state, mutate refs directly instead. Interesting. Ooh, it's cool. Shaders, yeah, nice. That's beautiful. Alright, so let's get back again to what's going on here. See how we can help. Let it run the code. See how it goes. Okay, meanwhile, oh, not this. Okay, close this. Right, let's continue looking at this. So, right, vertex shader runs for each vertex of your geometry. So, runs for each pixel on the screen. Fragment shader. Create animated color with time. Okay, I'll need to look more into these. Yeah, this is really, really cool. Damn. Clear the portal. Okay, all of these visuals are not working. Right, but you see that actually it gives a really good tutorial on, okay, I wouldn't say really good, but it gives a decent tutorial on some of the concepts behind what is being built, so that even as you're waiting for Claude Code to build something, you can also be learning about how it works. Alright. Swirling glowing animation without shaders. Wow, alright. I'd like to learn a bit more about shaders, but okay, let me keep that in mind. Okay, trickling. Collision collection detection runs 60 times per second in use frame. Check collection. Use frame. Okay, so let's see the position transformations. Subvectors, add vectors, spawn teleport particles. Alright, flip 180. Alright, now I think it's just about done, and I think it's just some pretty cool stuff. This is more performance things, which I think I will look at in the future. Yeah, and I think this is the most important one, which is putting it really all together, how it works. So let's see, it renders you using use frame, every frame 60 times per second, checks if a player is near a portal. So every second it checks 60 times if there's a person within a portal. If a player is within 2 meters, there's a collision, and the player's entry position, we actually flip the z coordinate, so we mirror that to the destination portal. So we legit just flip it around, make them face away so that I guess they don't go back in the portal, and prevent like infinite retriggering and some spawning effects. Okay, so let's see. Wow, alright. We learn all of this stuff, maybe like a bit of stuff, but it's helpful in the future when you want to debug a program to understand a bit of like the context of what it is building. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you see it did like 8 different tasks, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 different tasks, and ran the project, and we see there's actually one background task that is running over here. Sorry, one background task that's running over here. We click in, it's npm run dev, which means that it's actually running the project. So we'll see that it's localhost 3000, and as it says here, we go to localhost 3002. So let's try it out, and fingers crossed it works. Alright, shoot. Damn, okay, that's looking cool. I guess this is the profiler showing different things, and so if I click the canvas, it'll lock the pointer. Oh wow, okay, I can look around. So there's blue, there's an orange portal. Let's see, I'll use WSD to move around. Okay, right, interesting. Right, let's try to go into the orange portal. Orange in through the portal. Okay, I guess I'm in the blue box. Okay, it's going between the rooms. Let's see, we should be in the blue box again. Damn. Okay. So that was it for today's tutorial. Hope you learned a lot, and honestly, it's pretty cool to me that it managed to build out a simple teleporter within such a short amount of time, and I'm really excited for tomorrow's project. Until tomorrow.